We are going to create a graphic organizer input chart, also known as a GOIC, on Earth systems, which we have been talking about since the first day of school. So one way that our brain can process new knowledge is to draw it out on paper and write down different notes. So let's begin. Let's begin by drawing the Earth, since we're talking about Earth systems. So I'm using blue as part of the outline to represent water, because most of our Earth is covered by water. And now I'm using green to start drawing some of the continents of our Earth. Right, and let us label the different continents. So this is North America, and this is Central America, and South America, and then we have Africa as part of Africa, and then this part is Europe. So those are just some of the continents that is visible on this side of the Earth. Now, also part of the Earth is the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is a very thin layer that covers the Earth. So I'm going to draw it as sky blue dots around the Earth, just to show that that's the atmosphere. So now let's label this atmosphere. Coming from the drawing, putting a line on the word atmosphere. And then let's label the hydrosphere, coming from where the ocean would be on our Earth model. And then let's label the biosphere, and the biosphere consists of everything that has life on Earth. So some examples would be the trees, humans, animals, and insects. So let's label that the biosphere. And the fourth main part of the Earth system is the geosphere. So that would be anything that is on the land, like dirt, rocks, what makes up a mountain, soil. So now we have the four main systems, which is the hydrosphere, atmosphere, geosphere, and biosphere. Now let's talk about the composition of each Earth system. The composition of the atmosphere are gases and aerosols. Gases would mainly be oxygen, and the chemical sign for oxygen is O2, and then there's also nitrogen, which is N2, and then there are trace amounts of greenhouse gases, and we'll talk about greenhouse gases more in the coming weeks. Now let's talk about the composition of the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is anything that has to do with water. And the chemical composition of water is H2O, meaning 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. And let's draw a little droplet there just to give our minds a visual aid of the hydrosphere. Now let's talk about the composition for the geosphere. The geosphere mainly is made of, because that's what composition means, is what it's made of. It's mainly made of rock, sand, and soil. Now the biosphere is made up of, or its composition is made up of plants, so that has to do with trees, flowers, made up of animals, and let's draw a little drawing to remind us what they are. Insects, so you can draw a butterfly because a butterfly is an insect, and bacteria. So these are 4 examples of what the biosphere is composed of. So now your next step would be I'm going to just go back here so you can see the last. There you go. Oops, hang on. Give me a second. All right. Okay, so now what your job now is to go to your learning log, which is your science notebook, and to write down what you've learned from creating this GOIC. So you've got a choice of either copying this down or just writing things the way you understand what we just talked about. You can choose any page in your learning log, as long as you will know how to take a picture of it so that you can insert it in the Google Doc of the assignment in Google Classroom.